Hello, I am going to show you how to use CIP tool. To do that, we have to follow 4 steps. Step number 1, set up elements. Step number 2, automatic extraction. Step number 3, coins finalization. Step number 4, portfolio creation. Let us begin with set up elements. First, we need to determine the elements of the project that takes place in an interoperation by defining a new tag name, call it into type. Select one use case and define that tag into type and set it to 1, this element of type exported. Go to the other use case, tag value, and define intro type to be 2. This means this element of type imported. The same thing with the actor. Define tag name to be 3. This means this element of type interoperating. Now go to setup and press setup button. As we can see here, there are elements of type imported and elements of type exported and of course element of type interoperating. So let us now go to the second step, automatic extraction. After defining the interoperable elements, our CoinsExtractor tool automatically extracts the conceptual interoperability constraints about these elements. As we can see here, the panel on the left shows the diagrams that the coins have been extracted from. This includes class diagram, use case diagram, sequence diagram, and from these different diagrams we can get different types of constraints like usage, context, distribution, communication type, etc. Let us, for example, have a look at the class diagram of the smart tractor, which we want to explicitly share its constraints with third-party clients. So by clicking on it, we can see that a number of coins have been already derived from it. Choose one of these constraints. Let us choose inherited constraints. For example, this constraints has some values. Here is the detailed sheet. In this sheet, every constraint has some attributes like name, level, value, and so on. So these fields can be manually updated and later on saved on disk. Another example here is use case. It shows the context usage constraints of the smart tractor and its details. For example, remote steering allowed for remote driver only. Let us go now to the third step, coins finalization. Our tool allows the architect to manually finalize the automatically extracted constraints by clicking on Finalize Constraints button. And here we can see that the coins are grouped according to the imported and exported interoperability elements. And now the architect can approve or remove some of these constraints. Additionally, he can also add a new constraint, select function that goes to GPS tracking. And here is the detailed sheet. This sheet must be filled out. For example, interoperable unit name and interoperability unit type must be, for example, information system, category to be quality, and the value in general GPS data accuracy, quantitative, for example, up to 2 meters. Select high to the weight. As we can see here, the new constraint is already added. You can review or modify these constraints. So let us now move to the final step, portfolio creation. Our architect is done finalizing the coins. He just press on this button, create coins portfolio, which will automatically generate HTML pages that are ready to be shared with third-party clients for both exported and imported elements. For example, if a client is interested in interoperation with the smart tractor over the auto steering functionality, he can easily and directly find its conceptual constraints. And here in our example, we select exported elements. Here is the list of all constraints of type exported only. We can save it on disk and navigate it and see the details. Here is all information about the extracted constraint. We can view it and review every types of constraints together. And that was the procedure. Thank you.